Hi, my name is Aaron, and one of my favorite films of all time is David Fincher's 1999 action drama, Fight Club. Over the past 2 decades, Fight Club has been the topic of discussion amongst moviegoers everywhere. Many have praised it, and many have criticized it. Personally, I loved it from my first viewing, and it has always stayed in my top 5 favorite movies of all time since then. However, one thing has always bothered me, one thing that I could never answer myself, since it seemed that to be the thing that most people will praise about it the most, and that is the film's twist ending. In the third act, we learn that the character of Tyler Durden was simply a creation of the narrator's mind the whole time. Most people found this twist to be shocking, and many would call it the greatest of all time. But I want to challenge that idea, and simply ask, is Fight Club's iconic plot twist really that great? To answer this question, we should probably have a good understanding of 2 main things. The first being a quick summary, just in case you haven't seen it in a while. Spoilers, obviously. Fight Club takes place in mid-90s in Los Angeles, California, and follows the story of Edward Norton's character, simply known as the narrator. When we meet the narrator, he is simply your typical guy. He works an office job, lives in a tiny apartment, and buys from major retailers. Above all, he is bored. So bored, in fact, that he's a sufferer from a major case of insomnia. However, he finds comfort and rest in attending therapy groups. This method works for a while until a woman named Marla Singer starts to come to these sessions, which once again ruins the narrator's ability to sleep. He now needs a new way to sleep, a new therapy group, and boy, is he going to find one. On a business trip, the narrator meets a man called Tyler Durden. After the narrator's apartment mysteriously catches fire, he asks if he can stay with Tyler for a bit. Tyler then asks if they can talk about it over some drinks, to which the narrator agrees. After leaving the bar, Tyler tells the narrator that he can stay with him on one condition. The narrator asks what the condition is, to which Tyler responds, At first, he is baffled, but then he goes along with it. The 2 men fight and go back to the house Tyler is squatting in. 2 characters keep fighting each other outside the bar a few times a week, eventually getting the attention of other bargoers who also begin to join in. After a few weeks, they move their little gatherings into the basement of the bar, where they officially dub it as Fight Club. At first, the club has several strict rules that members must follow, such as, if someone says stop or goes limp, the fight is over, or only 2 guys to a fight, and the now iconic, you do not talk about Fight Club. However, as more people join the club, things start to get out of hand. Tyler begins to give assignments to members of the group to further reject society. These assignments range from vandalism to domestic terrorism. The narrator sees the club slowly transforming and tries to destroy what he had helped to create. When he finally confronts Tyler, he informs the narrator and the audience of one of the most well-known twists in cinematic history. He never existed. Throughout the film, every time the audience saw Tyler doing anything, it was actually the narrator the whole time. Got all that? Good. Because now that we have that down, we must ask, what makes a good plot twist? Is it the setup, the execution, the timing, or is it a combination of all 3? Now, while this question is subjective, there are several things that professionals claim go into creating a good twist. In an article from NewYorkBookEditors.com that is all about what makes a good plot twist, it is stated that plot twists need to be totally unexpected. I shouldn't be able to guess it, but once I go back and read it, I should be able to see the signs. Well, of course, yeah, sure. That seems pretty obvious, doesn't it? The whole point of a plot twist is to shock the audience by revealing new information to them and to the characters. However, this is where Fight Club's twist ultimately fails. Simply put, the film gives the audience way too much information. Even if the audience doesn't fully predict that Tyler is a part of the narrator's mind, I guarantee that most everyone will know that something is up with his character. In fact, before the audience is ever even introduced to Tyler, we see him 4 times in quick, single-frame moments. We see him at the narrator's office, his doctor's, a therapy session, and in the streets of LA. Just these few clips alone create suspicion around Tyler's character. In my opinion, a movie's twist shouldn't be this obvious. Some other indicators would have been, when Tyler and the narrator first meet, they both have the same briefcase. When the 2 get in a car crash, despite Tyler being the one driving, the narrator is the one who gets out of the driver's seat. And, on top of all that, Tyler is shown to break the 4th wall. However, there was one more reason why this twist just doesn't work, and unfortunately, this isn't even the movie's fault. To put it simply, Fight Club has become too much of a pop culture icon. In a few surveys taken from the r/sample size subreddit and Instagram, 68% of participants said that they had not seen the movie and that they already knew about its twist. That is a huge percentage that won't get to experience the twist given that they don't already predict it upon their first viewing. Now, back on the topic of giving too much away, I'd like to introduce another movie that has a Fight Club-esque twist, but does a considerably better job at it. Unbreakable. Unbreakable follows a man named David that is struggling to accept that he has superpowers. At the end of the movie, it is revealed that Elijah Price, a disabled man who was the one to finally convince David of his power, orchestrated several events that traumatized David throughout his whole life. This twist works significantly better than the one from Fight Club, because never for a moment does the audience consider someone like Elijah to be an actual threat. It also fills in plot holes that the viewer didn't even notice were there in the first place. Meanwhile, the audience is skeptical of Tyler before they even know who he is. So, is Fight Club's iconic plot twist really the greatest of all time, as so many people believe? After doing the research for this video, I would have to firmly say, no. Even so, the matter is still subjective, and the movie as a whole will still stand as a modern masterpiece. Thanks for watching.